Welcome to the battleground of the gods.
Hello, challengers! Welcome to the battleground of the gods. Today I am your guest, host, fan, person, Beard, aka Norsing Around. And joining me today is...
I'm Pete. I also go by Petesports, Pet Esports, and Petesports. And also we have...
Backlash 249, otherwise just known as Backlash or the resident W key holder.
And today we have taken over BOTG, because most of the hosts were at Worlds, still at Worlds, on their way home from Worlds, doing things with Worlds, as of this recording anyway. So we have taken over the podcast, and to get us going, just fun little fact about me, I have been in the Discord for like the last year now. I'm kind of active if you haven't seen me in the Discord, or I usually do the Games with Nev on her stream. Other than that, I stream myself, usually to myself, by myself, with myself. That makes me sound really lonely. Anyway, Pete, tell us about you.
I've only been playing Smite for a little over a year. I started playing post-boots removal on Switch. Now, thankfully, I'm on PC, but I mostly play Conquest, like... I like to think of I play the lowest queue time Conquest, which is like so 80% casual, 20% ranked. And that's I'm very gladly switched from Switch like 6 or 7 months ago. And my life has been so much nicer. And that's all for me.
A real fun fact about me, it would be pretty much 100 episodes almost to the number. It'd be since 142.5 when I last was on. That would have been for, I believe it was the PTS review for Season 7 going into Season 8, and yeah, it's been a while.
That's insane.
So, with that, now that you kind of know who we are, Games of the Week. Who wants to go first? Or fun. Month or year?
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about this a little bit, because I basically have got the timeline since we had the Diamond Challenge. I've gotten to play. I played a lot of Erlang. Erlang was like my 3rd or 4th highest behind 3 or 4 already picked warriors, and he still only had like 160 worshippers. So I was just like, I'm gonna grind some Erlang jungle, Erlang solo. I barely played this god, but I had no fun at all. It was not like, Lord, I didn't feel like I was able to do anything. It felt like a worse Arachne was my experience. So like I played a lot of Arachne in like low level ranked, and he was just like worse Arachne. It was pain. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have played a lot more Erlang than I have. This was my first Diamond Warrior too. So, but
I honestly haven't played that much Erlang.
Yeah, I can't say I have either.
Hello listeners, Editor Depmation here to tell you that this is the last we hear from Backlash. His Audacity crashed not long after this, going unnoticed until a fair way into the recording right before he was going to tell us about his games. So unfortunately, you might hear the fellas chatting with him a bit. However, we do not have his sound for that. Now back to some Erlang Shen.
But
I like him. I mean, I enjoy playing him the few times that I've played him, but it's usually been in arena.
Yeah,
I've played him.
I played him before and I thought he was fun, but I guess I don't know. Grinding it was not fun. But then I joined Nev's stream and we got like 6 or 7 arena games. I was enjoying myself, and that because it was like triple worshippers, I just like got a bunch of worshippers. In my last game, I got to play a Conquest, and I just did a very dumb build. Like previously I'd been trying to do like stacking or like hybrid builds, and I was like, fuck it. But yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna try something stupid. I just went Golden Blade, Hastened, and then like 3 crit items, and I went like 17-5. It was the most fun I've had on Erlang, and it was the last one I needed, so I never have to play him again. It was great. But that was something that happened, like a week ago. And then since then, I've had a couple of interesting games worth mentioning. I had 2 games in a row in Casual Conquest where there was an Uller support that had like Axe. He started with Axe and then built full damage. And the first game he was on my team, and he was our team was the wildest Conquest team I've ever seen. We had an Erlang mid, an Uller support, another warrior, I don't remember what, in our solo lane. Myself, it was like, well, we need magic damage, and I was the jungler, so I was like, I guess I'll go like Anubis jungle, just what the heck. And we had I think it was another mage in the solo lane. And the Uller support honestly popped off for us. He got like, they dominated early in the duo lane, and we kind of snowballed that into a kind of a long, drawn out win. But immediately after that, he was on the enemy team, and I played Vulcan for like the 3rd time ever, and we had a little bit of pressure in duo lane, and so he did not do well, and honestly I feel like that's the reason that they lost, was because they ended up at the end of the game they had 4 damaging characters, like 4 full damage characters, and then their solo was hybrid. But that was I've never seen an Uller support, much less like twice in a row. I'm pretty sure it was the same guy, because it was the same build. But I was like, I haven't played that long. And then recently, yesterday, I've never experienced this in Conquest. I played Arena a few times, and one of the Arena games we all just agreed to play Assassins. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. Yeah, like my second Arena game ever was, we just agreed on 5 Assassins. The first time ever this happened to me in Conquest, I was like, I'm just trying to play Ishtar because I know she's getting nerfed. Like 100% chance. She got 100% pick ban rate at Worlds. She's getting nerfed. So I got jungle, and I'm like, I'm playing Ishtar. And then everyone else was like, they typed it out in the chat, like, let's just all play Hunters. And it wasn't good, but it was fun. I was crit Ishtar. I feel like if our support had actually kind of leaned into like defense hybrid, it might have worked out, because the enemy team was also 4 magical. And their solo laner didn't build any defense. So it was just a Yorm support who was the only one who built any physical defense. So I feel like it could have worked, but it obviously didn't at the end of the day. But it was a lot of fun. That was the first time I ever had a Conquest game where everyone just agreed, especially without like being queued with anyone. I solo queued, and yet we just all decided, yeah, what the hell, we're gonna do a 5-man Hunter queue. But those are the 3 things that I had. That was fun. It all happened to me last week. So
I wish I had games like that. My Conquest games are full of people who complain just constantly. Like, I guess I'll go next. Unless you want to go next, Backlash. So I mean, I grounded out my diamond challenge, which wasn't too hard. I was already at like 890 or something with Odin. But oddly enough, I just grinded him out through Arena, and bizarrely enough, my scores look like I was a support. I went 1-7, 25, 0-3, 11, 5-7, 20 to finish him off. I'm like, okay, what am I doing that makes me a support in Arena all of a sudden with Odin? But other than that, I had a couple abysmal just doing Arena games to do Arena games, and then today I've been doing a crap load of Conquest, and I had 2 losses. My last game, which is where I called it quits, was a very abysmal Gilgamesh game, because I got into solo, tried to grab the support role, but then the support was like, no, and then the support traded with somebody else, and then it got really confusing, and then I had 5 seconds to pick a character, and I misclicked and hit Gilgamesh, and I went 0-4-2, and we surrendered at 15 minutes, because it was that bad. Our duo lane, they got to the tier 2 tower 6 minutes in.
Holy.
In our duo lane. So, yeah, we were doing abysmal. Our jungler was the only decent one there, but I had a pretty pop-off game as Ares, went 0-8-12. I don't like to play Hunters. I hate playing Hunters. I hate playing the carry role. Even when I played League of Legends, way back when I was a young child, I hated playing the carry role then. But I may have missed my calling, because I went 16-1-8 on Izanami earlier today. After the support, or who spawned as carry, was like, can I have the support role, please? And then
and back to back too, your D1 support didn't want to give it to you, and then you got it.
The other game of note, which I kind of wish this performance had been in a Conquest match, but it was in an arena match. I went 7-0-24 as Jormungandr.
Oh my lord.
In an arena match. Yeah, they would hard focus me, and I would get away every single time. I had a pretty abysmal Maui game, too. Well, I thought it was abysmal. We still won at 20 minutes, even though the entire match was spent with our jungler and our solo lane complaining and griping that we were losing, but we won 20 minutes in, surprisingly enough, and they were giving crap to the carry who 15 minutes in still didn't have a kill. Like, we were kind of doing okay, like we were keeping the pressure off of duo lane, but once I started rotating and stuff, and I missed every single one of my ultimates. Like, I would block off like stupid spots when we were getting team killed. We were literally like 3k gold behind. We were like 5 or 6 kills behind, and then we had one good fight and then rammed it down their throat and won. The whole time Fenrir's complaining, and I'm just like, we ended the game and I had to say something at that point. I was like, wow, all that complaining and we still won.
I love those.
Because it's like, I mean, he was just giving crap to the carry, and I'm like, why? Like, there's no need for this. Like, it's a game. We're not playing ranked. This is casual Conquest. This is just, like, we're playing to play. Like, if you're going to take it that seriously, go play ranked. Like,
yeah. I had a casual, like, 2 or 3 days ago where we were winning. Like, we were winning the entire game, but our jungler kept complaining to our mid laner because he hadn't gotten a kill yet. And I was like, we're winning. Like, why? You're getting kills. We're winning. You've died, like, twice. In the game, yeah, our game also ended like 25 minutes off of a team wipe. Like, we never even got Fire Giant. Like, it ended off a team wipe because our mid laner didn't die. And yeah, that jungle ended up, he was complaining like every 2 minutes. He was like talking trash to the mid laner. He ended up like 17-3 or something. I was like, bro, what are you doing?
yeah. Well, that's most of my game. Most of my games are all recent. So, Backlash, your game.
I know I had some of my games disappear off of Smite Guru from like 5 days ago or something. Yeah. Okay.
If he needs a second, we can take a second and talk about our thoughts and worlds.
So, do you want to start?
I'm sad the Titans lost. I'm sad the Valhalla Valkyries didn't even make it to Worlds. But the games were insane, for sure.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching. I didn't have anything to do this weekend, and I was like, I don't care if anyone asks. I have plans.
I mean, I watched, my 5-year-old came out and watched a couple of the games, sat in my lap and watched a couple of the games with me. He was excited about the new content and stuff because I was telling him all about it, and tried to replay the video, but he like had a total ADD moment and was just like, nope, go in the other room, Dad. But I mean, I think, I don't know. Do we want to leave the keynotes for season 10 alone and let the hosts?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll talk more about it. I think we can just say like for what they showed, because we don't have patch notes yet, obviously, so we don't have the bulk of the information that they'll have next week.
That's true. That's very true.
But I'm looking forward to it. It looked exciting. Last year I did not watch Worlds at all, and I only paid attention to the keynotes. Like, I wasn't watching interested in the pro play. But being like interested in all of it was really exciting. Honestly, there was so many stories that I was excited for. I just think it's wild that the Kings, the closest set the Kings had was against Adapting and the Ravens. Like, I felt like those 2 games that they had versus the Kings were the closest games that the Kings played all weekend, which is wild.
Right. I mean, I was really hoping. I mean, my original lineup was Ravens, Mambo, and then I think it was Dragons, purely because of how well they'd been doing, versus, I don't remember the other.
The Titans, because you were rooting for the Titans.
Well, no, it was the Dragons Titans originally. Wait, who ended the Titans first?
Yeah, the Titans played the Levi's first, and the Dragons played the Warriors.
That's right. Yeah, because I didn't put any. Well, I knew that the Warriors weren't going to beat the Dragons.
Yeah.
And then, it was Titans. I think it was Titans versus...
Titans did end up playing the Dragons.
Yeah, and then... Yeah, so then I think that played out the way I thought it would. But yeah, and then once it was Titans, Dragons, I was like, all right, the Titans are going to win that. And then I was hoping the Bolts were going to knock out the Kings, but I did vote that the Kings were going to win that one. But I said that the Titans were going to take the whole thing just because they were playing so well, and then just Sunday it looked like they just...
That's wild. I didn't see that. Going into it, I was hoping that, the Dragons would figure a way out. Like maybe somebody would upset the Kings before the Dragons made it there, and the Dragons would just... that's what I was hoping for. But in a realistic bracket, I was like, the Kings win this. They probably end up playing the Mambo. They play the same style, and they just dominate them. So I was impressed with the Bolts. I didn't think they would 2-0 Mambo. And then I just thought it was hilarious that the Titans Levi's. I didn't expect that at all. I did not think the Titans had looked all that good in their play-ins. But the Sinatos was sick. Like I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah, no one. And then it went so like how it went their first two sets, it went unanswered.
Yeah.
And they just kept letting them snag it. It was like, okay. But then again, like when you looked at some of the plays, especially during the second set, it wasn't so much that he was popping off on Thanatos. It was Paul and Auror and their plays that they were making. Yeah. Like they were setting so much stuff up. And that's why, like, when I saw that, like, just with their play style, it was like, okay, yeah. Because the Kings were taking it very, very slow. And I was like, okay, they're gonna like, that's what the Titans need, is that the Titans just need that time to build. And then they weren't dictating the pace like they were in their first two sets. And it was just like, because I didn't watch too much of the Titans beforehand. Anytime that I have caught in the Titans games, that's always been like, if they can keep the pace and set the pace, they're fine. Like they'll do it. But if they let the other team dictate, they're not going anywhere.
The Titans Dragons set was intense. That was like the only, if I had to recommend watching any set back, it would be that one, because like it went back and forth obviously, but it was just like such different win conditions in the different games too. Because like the fourth game when the Dragons won, it was a 19-minute game, but they ended up with like less than 10 kills combined. It was like the Dragons just were slowly putting pressure, like they were just getting all of the neutral farm, and yet they managed to win like pretty convincingly. It was just like they slowly were taking farm, and then they like won a team fight, and that was it. At less than 20 minutes in, it was like you don't expect that without getting a bunch of kills. You would expect, like, if you're getting that kind of, you're stealing that much farm, that you'd be getting a lot of kills. But then you had a couple of other games in that set that were really, really long as well. So, and a lot of the Titans, I think, winning because they did more of it. They did more of the setting the pace.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like when I've watched a lot of the competitive stuff. That's I think a lot of it. What it comes down to is, like, regardless of what play style, whether they're trying to end it quickly or they're trying to get to the more end game, late game phase of things, whichever team can successfully either hit the pace and keep it going on their terms, or if they can ride the pace of the other team and wait for those openings, because there's a couple teams that can do that too, I've noticed. Like Mambo, for example, the last couple Mambo games that I caught, that's what I always felt that they would do, is that they would kind of ride the pace of whatever the enemy team was setting, and they would just wait for those opportunities. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the sense I got when watching the Mambo games. It's like they were waiting. They were just waiting for their opportunity, and the Bolts weren't going to let them have it. Because they went against the Bolts, right? Yeah, they lost 2-0 to the Bolts. I expected them to put a lot more pressure. What was it? Baskin looked really good in that set with his rotations to, like, he upgraded teleport really early and rotated to like duo lane in both games at like 10 minutes or something to a deep ward and got a kill. And that was like, in the first game, I think that was the first kill of the game, was like 10 or 12 minutes in. He teleported to a ward like at their purple buff and got a kill. So yeah, like the Bolts like didn't let them get to set their pace. So let's see. Do we want to cover some of the keynote stuff, or do we want to go into the next topic? I mean, I don't know how much more there is to say. I mean, we got to see the map at least. We did get to see the new map, and obviously we have Searcher confirmed, which does kind of lead into the community corner. It does. So let's do that. So yes, let's do that. Yes. And I think you should start. You should explain yours, because I should explain behind this. Okay. So community corner. Woo! I don't know if there's supposed to be a sound effect there or not. Whoever's going to edit this is going to totally hate me afterwards. Community quarter, we are starting with mine. So, Beard, aka Norsing Around. I have Nostra Beardist, the coming of Surtur, who is, of course, the fire giant on the map. But for those who don't know, he is the fire giant from Muspelheim who walks around with a giant sword. So he is in the Norse pantheon. I'm saying he's going to be a warrior in my community corner. And I gave him the, as we clarified earlier, the Cleaving King Arthur auto chain. And then I gave him Vimana's Sleeping Giant passive, which gave him the percentage, or which will give him the percentage of physical protections converted into physical power and attack speed. And then I gave him Ymir's 1, except instead of it being an ice wall, it's a firewall, because fire. Then I proceeded to give him Cernos's 2, which is Bramble Blast, except of course I made it fire. And that ability is just, it creates that big zone everybody hates that Cernos makes. And then I gave him Souls 3, Disasperate. I'm not even sure if I can
Disapparate, yeah.
That's her ability where she turns into the little ball of fire and has the trail behind her. And then, of course, I mean, in Norse mythology, he is part of Ragnarok, is all that joy. So, of course, I couldn't end it without ending it on good old Fenrir's number 4, Ragnarok. Where he would just get bigger, and then he could grab people and snare them and run off with them.
That's fun. And I like that 3 of your abilities are also just Norse abilities, too. So it's not even... It's all in-house.
It made the most sense. It made the most sense. I mean, in retrospect, maybe I could have swapped... I don't know what passive I could have swapped it for, but maybe given him Vimana's ult instead, where he just gets big.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know, I felt it was more fun to give him a snatch ability, which, I mean, I don't think any of these abilities are anywhere close to what he's going to have, because what they showed us, he had some, like, fireball thing, he creates an imp.
Yeah,
and
some
then,
sort of minion. I wasn't expecting that.
So, I could see him going warrior, but I could also see them making him a mage, because he's going to spawn a minion. And I don't think, outside of hunters, I don't think there's any other class that spawns a minion.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, you just have you have Scotty, and then Tiamat, Nuwa. So yeah, I can't think of any warriors that have summons.
Yeah,
And then, Bastet. So yeah, there's some assassin, mage, and hunter.
Yeah, because unless you count Ymir's wall, I don't think you have a minion from Guardians.
No.
I mean, the closest you would get would maybe be Sylvanas' stuff that he plants from his abilities, but
Okay, yeah, I guess that's interactive a little bit, but
right. But I still wouldn't consider either one of those minions because they don't have their own health bars. They don't interact with anything. They don't do anything on their own.
But
yeah, that was mine.
I feel like this is solid, and I like the idea of building it off of a passive. That's what I did. I was like, I want a really good passive, and then we'll figure out everything else. And Vimana's, I feel like it has to be a top 3 of the warrior passives. That's just like it does so much. His ult and his passive are just like his entire kit.
Right. I mean, the few times I've played Vimana, I particularly don't like him, but like it's hard to deny that his stuff is good. And especially because I wanted like the concept behind it. I mean, he's a fire giant. He's big. He's burly. You know, putting him in the warrior class, I wanted something that was going to be able to. I mean, I designed another concept of being a really annoying, like hit me in the face, and I'm just going to keep coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to be able to run away if I need to. But basically give chase, because like he can zone you out, he can wall you off, he can grab you and run away with you, or you can escape. So
yeah, I guess there is a lot of movement there. Yeah, a lot of movement and movement restriction.
Yeah,
Ymir wall is never bad. Like if I wasn't using a guardian passive, like 100%, I'd be thinking about Ymir 1, because that is
right.
Even with its nerf, that's still an insane ability, and it saw play at Worlds because people understand, because the pros especially may take really good advantage of walls.
Right. I mean, I just imagine like you're in the solo lane, or you're rotating out in terms of at least playing Conquest. So you're rotating into another lane to support a teammate, and you know the enemy's retreating, wall, Cernunnos 2, oh, now they're trying to get away because my wall's done. Oh, now I'm big and bag. I'm going to grab you and pull you back into the fight and finish you off. Like, that just sounds scary to me.
So
that leads us to the next one, which I believe is yours.
Yeah, I have the next one. I ended up doing 2 because there was two Guardian passives that I was like, these are too good. So the first one is Ymir passive. That's if I couldn't have Ymir's passive, I'd want Ymir's 1. But Ymir's passive is nutty if you take it out of the context of a Guardian. His passive is really good. I think that was brought up, multiple times for the Guardian one of these. Ymir's passive was picked a lot because you get doubled auto attack damage and minus 10% damage taken from any god that is affected, is the wording. All of Ymir's abilities that affect an enemy do damage, but according to the wording, it's affected. So even if it just slows without dealing damage, you would still get this proc of the passive. So if you throw this on a ranged physical god, you basically just get super extra crits, guaranteed, and reduce damage to yourself. So I was like, I'm just gonna lead hard and do auto attack ranged character.
Yeah, very much so.
But the important thing is you do have to, the abilities can't be stims. So I'm actually going to stay away from stims. I want to be affecting the enemy with my abilities. So I decided Bologna 1 would be a solid option because that's just increasing your boxing potential. Basically, you dash a short distance, you get a slow, and then the second part of that, which is not tied to a passive, is that you change your sword stance, and then with every so many autos, you get block stacks. I was like, free block stacks is insane for boxing. So I'll take that with my free crits. And then a Wheelix 2, because I just wanted a cool outplay ability, and Wheelix 2 is Ravana 2 would have been another potential one here, but I feel like Wheelix 2 is just flashier than Raven 2. And it's only an 8-second base cooldown, whereas Robin's is a 16 or something. Cherry 3 because you need some movement in this kit, and it does do a little bit of damage even if you won't get the knockup because you don't have Cherry's passive. It does do a little bit of damage, so it does proc your passive. If you get him with a ticket damage, you still will get your 4 seconds or something of Ymir passive. And then I heard them bringing up in one of the episodes that Morgan ult is a cop out, so that was my go-to, but I thought that might be brought up, so Ola Run ult it's the backup ultimate if you don't like Morgan, because that's just an insane stim that should also proc Ymir's passive, because even though it's not doing damage, it is definitely affecting the enemy. So you just get an insane attack stim with extra damage, and they're slowed in that area. So I was like, impossible to box. The only way you deal with this is some hard CC, a good amount of hard CC on this god.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, at least with the Morganol, at least with, because I don't know if we prefaced this before we started this. So these were one ability from each god pool. So one ability from Guardian, Warrior, Mage, Assassin, Hunter. So, I mean, taking the Morganol, at least in this god build, is kind of the because then you can have anybody else's.
It's cheating, yeah.
Cheating. So, I mean, with that particular build, though, I would see the Morgan ult working really well. Being able to turn into somebody else, or being able to pick somebody else and just run with it. I think it would work just as cool. I mean, the Olorun ult, it runs with the theme of all the range stuff, but I don't know, I feel like you could probably have picked a better one still.
It was overkill, I think. I just fully committed to it.
Yeah. So let us continue on with your second one, though.
Okay. So
keep giving you the floor with the second one.
Yeah, the second part of this was I was not expecting to be able to read this, and I was expecting them to say, well, Bologna 1, actually, you're using a sword, so that makes you a melee god. And I was like, well, I'm not doing melee god. I want my range. So if Bologna 1 means you get a sword, so you can't get your ranged block stacks, I was like, okay, the kit's going to be different then, because I'm no longer leaning into the block stacks. I'm just going to lean hard into doubling down on crit and movement. So we have Circuit 1, so my Assassin 1 now is on my first ability. So that's a decent movement ability that also can crit. And I expected to build crit because you already get free crit in your passive. And then Cern 2 I also liked. I thought that was going to be my best option. If I wasn't going to use a safety ability, I thought that was the best That was best like hard CC hunter second ability available. So I thought that would work well. And then third ability, Wukong 3, just because of how versatile it is, and I get another movement option. So you have a way you can get in with Surcat 1, proc your passive, burn somebody, and then Wukong 3 bird form out. Or you can Wukong stun in, and then Cern 2, and then Surcat 1 out. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to get to explain myself. But if you don't like Bologna Dash, if you think that's cheating, then that's kit I would go with, which leans a little less into necessarily boxing, but you have a lot of mobility. I really like this next one though. This is another great passive.
Oh yeah, what is her passive? All right, so our next one is, I apologize if I say your name correctly, Hypnose? I hope that's how you say his name, Hypnose. If I'm wrong, just don't blame me. So he has the he calls this the "you will stand in my Zeus ult the entire duration and I full heal when you die," which does sound very terrifying. So it's the Kali passive, the Hercules 1, which is the dash, the Cernos 2, which seems to be a big thing so far, the Ymir freeze, and Zeus's ultimate. And what is Kali's passive? Kali's passive, mark for death.
Is free penetration, and if you get a kill, you get a 60% heal.
Oh.
If you get an assist, a 20% heal on your marked target.
And gold bounty from that god is increased by 30% for a kill or an assist. So if you get a kill or an assist on your marked god, oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, this passive.
Why did I not know that
it
about
does so
this?
much. So this is the idea here is you have your Kali passive, so you have your marked target, then you just run over to them, you root them with Cerns 2. You send your ult, you send Cern 2 to root them in that ult, and then if they start to run, you just driving strike towards them and then freeze them. So they should take almost the entire duration of the ult, and then once they die, you just get healed for whatever damage you might have taken in trading, and then you get a new target. So it's a very all-in, but like highly effective kit.
Yeah, very much so. Like, I don't want to stand in that. That sounds terrifying.
The only thing is like you obviously the problem is you don't get your stacks for Zeus. You don't get to get your 3, so you don't get that bonus damage that Zeus gets. And the CC will DR. So if they've already been CC'd, you'll have a hard time keeping them in because your freeze won't last all that long, and the Bramble Blast won't last very long at all.
Right.
But if you get to approach somebody, I feel like I could confidently 100-0 them and then heal up any damage they tried to return to you. Definitely.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could see diving in with the 1 and then slowing them down or stopping them with the 2 or the 3, dropping the ult, and then continuing to try and keep them there using whichever of the 2 or 3 you didn't use. So like pop the 2, drop the ult, pop the 3.
Because Bramble Blast does cripple as well. So even if you're not rooted, even if you don't hit them directly, they still can't use a movement ability, which is a huge part of getting out of Zeus ult, is having a movement ability.
Right. So I mean, I think that would probably be the ideal way to pop that. Then like drop that 2, drop that Zeus ult, and then once they start to try and get away, or once the effects wear off, if they're still in the ult, just freeze them with your ult. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's nasty. And then of course, and then you full heal off of it. So yeah.
Yeah, when they die. Oh my god. All right. So do we want to skip? Do we want to skip your next? Because you're the next one again. Do we want to skip that one and circle back to it if we have time?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So Coffin Monkey has Coffin Monkey. I'm assuming that's Hunbats. I didn't clarify that, but I'm assuming Coffin Monkey Shuffle 1 is Hunbats 1, which is his overhead swing. So that's a nice knock-up immune now. Recently knock-up immune. A decently cone damaging ability. Hachiman 2, so that's the banner that gives you attack speed. Cuckoo's 3, so that's just your big damage, wave clear ability, big damage in an area denial. And then he also did Ragnarok. So that's... Wait, no. So Wait a minute. Oh no, wait. So he changed
yeah.
it. He changed it to front flip for his 2. But Coffin Monkey. Oh, Coffin Monkey must be Wukong because Fenrir ult is an assassin.
Yeah, how much is assassin? So Wukong's 1.
Must be Wukong 1. So that's his. It's also wave clear. This is just a bunch of wave clear. You have the line wave clear. You have hexagon wave clear. You have circle wave clear. And Fenrir ult. But I guess you can place. You would be able to place Cuckoo's 3 and then grab somebody and hold them in the entire duration, which is pretty nuts.
That's what I was thinking right there. So yeah, you smack them with the wave clear or the Cuckoo for the wave clear, and then the Hachi 2 with the banner. I'm assuming that this would be a ranged god, of some sort. Which I don't know.
You have a lot
Bellona's
of
passive.
Yeah. So Bellona's passive means you have increased attack speed and movement speed on successful autos. So that has some synergy with Hachiman's 2 of increased attack speed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can see that.
It's like the ultimate poke god, pretty much. I feel like this would have worked well with like Thoth, with Thoth's walls, because you have all 3 abilities are great for just poking someone.
Oh, he did make a notation afterwards after Enbright brought something up to switch it to Neith's 2.
Okay.
To do the backflip.
That does give you some mobility.
So you smack him and then you backflip out. Oh, that's still terrifying. Okay. Well, moving along. Enbright 03 hits us with the Achilles passive, which I believe is the swap between armored and unarmored.
Yes. So
which
you
is
either
like
get free movement speed and power, or free prots and something else.
Something else I can pull it up real quick. The Danza 1, it's protection. Oh, it's health and protection, and then movement speed and power. So the Danza 1, I don't know Danza 1.
That's the 3 money bags shot out.
Okay.
So you get bonus gold and a little bit of CC. You get the drunk if they get hit by it.
The Baka 2, the Baka 2 is the eat people, isn't it?
Eat minion.
Or eat the minion.
Yeah.
The Emer 3, which is the freeze, and the Og Kwong ult, which is the dragon thing, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And with the dragons.
Melee range execute.
I mean, this sounds pretty scary, to be honest.
Very aggressive. I'm
very aggressive, but it doesn't have a lot of movement. I mean, I would say this is very much a solo lane warrior sustaining themselves off the minion wave, trying to block out the enemy with the 1, and then when you're ready to go in on them, hitting them with that 3 and then the ult to finish them off.
Very all in. And you get bonus gold off of Danza's 1, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely I could see that being a terror in the solo lane. Like, I wouldn't want to fight that in the solo lane.
No.
Definitely not. I wouldn't even want to fight that in an arena.
Oh, yeah, because as long as, you can just blink in, dump kit, and then get ult off.
Right? Yeah, totally. Definitely.
So.
Oh my goodness.
So maybe a bear is our next one, which is also likes Achilles passive with Neja's 1. So that's the assassin 1. The ring bounce, which has a slow and obviously does a pretty substantial amount of damage. Ganesha 2, so that's your silence.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the silence.
Uller 3, which it looks like she means the leap, or he or she means the leap, the change from base with the passive. So you have a pretty low cooldown leap. And then Baron's ultimate, which is fun.
So yeah, again, I mean, I could see that working pretty well. I mean, it leaving in with the Uller 3, probably silencing them, hitting that Neja 1, and then once they go to run away, hit them with that Baron ult to pull them back.
It feels like a very balanced kit, honestly. Achilles passive is a good go-to because you can play offensively or defensively with it. And then Neja's 1 is a great poke tool, decent for wave clear. Ganesha's is just really annoying. Ganesha's 2 is really annoying. And then Uller 3 is just like a solid leap with decent damage. And Baron ult's fun. I like Baron ult.
Yeah, I do like playing Baron for his ult a lot of the time. Just because, I mean, there's something fun about sucking people back in. And, like, I kind of wish they would give him a, like, companion skin to go with Zhang Kui, where he's, like, the ghost trap.
Ooh. That would be cool.
Because I think that would be a really cool skin, because then you pair the two of them up. Which, I mean, you wouldn't pair them in a conquest match, but for non-conquest, to pair them up, Zhang-Kui runs in as the Ghostbuster, and then, he pulls him back in as a... Which, I've had it happen in an arena where I've been Zhang-Kui with a Baron, and Baron ult, and then Zhang-Kui ult at the same time.
Oh yeah,
not a lot of people are getting out of that.
Especially if you're able to. I'm not very good at it, but if you're able to turn around quickly, so you basically just keep the pull without ever committing to the stun until the end of the ult.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just in your Zong ult for the entire duration. That's nuts.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for the other team. With that though, moving on to the person that everyone is trying to beat.
Yeah.
BOTG champion Riggs. So he has the Bologna passive, which is that attack speed, right?
Increased attack speed and movement speed with successful auto hits. Yeah.
Okay. So then he's hitting us with the Seismic Rush Kabrakan 1, which is him becoming enraged, increasing his movement speed. It's a 70% attack speed increase on his next successful basic attack, which will also stun, with no diminishing returns. He also gains haste and is immune to slows and roots. So definitely... So we have the increased attack speed. Not only now, he can now chase you down when he procs that one, or when he hits that one, bringing us...
Yeah, that's how you're getting in. Nobody's rooting you. You're getting in.
Then he's hitting us with the Ravana 2, aka the overhead kick, which is a line-based attack in front of you. Because I've never played Ravana, so I'm kind of reading it off the thing here.
Yeah.
So there's a shockwave of damage forward on the line, also increasing movement speed. And he's CC and damage immune for the duration.
That's the big thing.
So, runs in, hits you with the 2. Hachi's 3, which I believe is the dash. I don't think I need to look that one
the dash stun.
That should be the dash. So, again, if he still hasn't caught you, dash stun or dash stun to get away. Vice versa, too. If he dashes in with a 3, you can use the Kabrakan 1 to escape. So, the 1 or 3 being engage or escape. And then hits you with the Alquang ult. Again, the big... hit you with the dragon, smack you with the dragon, execute you with the dragon. And then the Osiris auto chain, which I don't know what the Osiris auto chain is. I'm assuming that's just smack people.
I think it's a fast auto chain. I'm not really sure. I'd have to double check on that. But I like this one. I think, frankly, if I had to judge, I would say this is just a better version of Enbright, because Enbright also has Alquang's ult, and it has that aggressive kit that we had said solo lane. This is so aggressive. You dash in and stun, and then you have, if they try to run, you've got your cab 1, which is non-DR, which is important. And then if they ever try to return, if you're good, you can just Robin 2 to immune, and then you hit a few autos, and then Alquang ult. That is nasty.
Yeah, I see this as something that roams the jungle.
Yeah, for sure.
And you hit that Kabrakan 1, or you hit that Hachi 3, and there's a big sound associated with it that strikes fear into your heart as it comes running out of the side at you before you scream in death.
Yeah.
You get that scared child moment. I honestly will admit, I think a lot of the time, a lot of these community corners beats Riggs. But this time, so far, I think I have to give it to Riggs, because one's
this is genuinely
ultimately terrifying. I see this coming out of, even if you pulled something like this in the solo lane, even though it sounds more like an assassin to me, if you did pull this off in the solo lane, still, this coming at you that quickly with not being able to stop it in any way, shape, or form is just very terrifying. Pete, let's see if somebody can beat Riggs then.
So, Necros has a tier passive, so that's basically you get built-in CCR. You can't be CC'd for more than a second. Afro's 1. This is fun. I like this one. So Afro's 1. So it's the kiss. So you either you get the stun or movement speed and mana restoration for you and an ally. Apollo 2. So that's that annoying mez, that annoying interrupt, the instant mez. But you also get some bonus fizz prots. So it's Geb 3, the annoying shield cleanse, and then Nem 4, which is just the annoying movement speed slow, prot steal, it does all the things. And then also with the Osiris auto attack chain. But yeah, this is just the most annoying. This is like a Kumba level support of just like doing all of the things. But it also has the Aphrodite heals. This is like Kumba support plus healing. Nasty.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, this is, I'm not gonna kill you at any point in time.
Oh yeah,
But you're not gonna kill my team at any point in time if I'm standing there.
yeah. None of these abilities. What does Afro's stun deal damage, or is it just a stun?
I think it's just a stun.
It's very low damage if anything. So best case
Right.
scenario, you've got one ability that does damage, but it is incredibly annoying, and it doesn't actually DR that bad either. I don't.
Yeah,
think...
it does at max 20% damage for her one.
Okay, so yeah, she doesn't. It doesn't, and it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't DR that bad. The Nemesis. Yeah, that is just extremely frustrating.
Yeah, that is the epitome of support right there.
And I'm glad that somebody did that, because like, yeah, if I had to pick any one of these to be like in support role, or yeah, this would definitely be it. Like, nobody else is even close to being this annoying.
Right, like, absolutely. I mean, this presents its own terror. Like, I don't know. That's hard to say if that one would beat Riggs, but I think that one beats Riggs in the fact that is just pure support right there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it takes the cake, but I mean, yeah, I don't even think Riggs's Nightmare would destroy that.
No. So you've got the cleanse. So you've got a cleanse for stun. You can't stun this person because they have tier passive. So that's basically just like nothing you do to me lasts more than a second.
Right.
And then yeah, you still have the Geb Shield and the Apollo Mez plus a stun in your kit. Like, you actually have enough because Riggs only has 2 immunities and he's got 3 heart CCs.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 2 heart CCs and a cleanse. So
yeah, there's not much. Yeah. If anything, that's getting away from Riggs' Nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you need to stop Riggs. It's right there.
Right there. Yeah, that is the anti-Riggs monster right there. Which brings us to Kenny Alpha, who has the Yorm passive, which is his
you can't be pulled.
Can't be pulled or hard displacement. He can't have anything like that. So you can still be dazed or slow, and the slow can't be cleansed off of him. But any attack speed past his base speed does up his recharge rate for his basic attack, which the faster that goes, if you've ever seen someone with an attack speed Yorm, that little snake on his screen will just constantly fill right back up, which is terrifying. Then we got the Herc one, which is the dash, the Apollo 2, which is that Mez again, with the physical prots. The Baka 3 is the leap?
His stim. That's his stim.
Oh, this is stim.
The true damage. Or I think it's true damage. Yeah, like the bonus damage on your autos.
I believe you are correct.
So that's interesting.
that is the buff. Ooh, yeah.
But if you got that with your that actually worked with Yorm's autos. That's insane. Because you're getting cone auto attacks that are doing bonus.
Oh
damage.
yeah.
So that's
that is terrifying. And then you mix all of that with the big raw ultimate blast thing
just to finish him
off. I mean, the only downside is then at least you're in place. So, I mean, I see this being some other large monster thing that roams the map that's just terrifying to see as it comes around a corner.
Not a lot of safety, but a lot of damage. Just the fact that you are able to combine Yorm's autos with a real stim, because he usually doesn't get to do that. That in of itself is nuts.
Yeah, because I mean, surprisingly enough, like that 7-0 and 24 or whatever game it was I had, that was my main weapon, was my auto attack.
Okay.
Like, and I was building support. I wasn't building damage Yorm. I was building to be a monster, take all the damage. Like, at one point, no one was doing damage to me, or they were doing such minuscule damage that I could just I kind of kite them back to the fountain and not die. So, but yeah, I mean, I would turn on them and hit them with my basic attacks, and it would just shred the crap out of them. So, mix that with a stim, that is very terrifying.
So next we have Blaze.
Yep, next.
Yeah, Blaze, who has Soul's passive, which is her heat, I believe. So that's basically you get increased attack damage and maybe attack speed with every successful auto. The only
For
thing
Soul,
the only thing
yeah.
is that you don't get souls. I think it's her 1 or her 2 that gives her passive heat. So you do have to be reliably hitting autos for this to like stay up. But if you are able to keep her passive, it is kind of nutty. You are definitely one of the best auto attack gods in the game if you're able to keep that passive going. So
Yeah.
So you have that with your Ishtar 1, which is free AoE autos. A great way to build that passive up faster, because I think it is on hit that you build that passive normally. So you build it a lot faster, and you can abuse the fact that you can have farther range on your autos too. So, okay. And then ability 2 is the Eat Minion.
Okay.
So it's some decent sustain. And does that impact your auto chain? No, it gives you power. So it does kind of bleed into your autos. And then Arachne's 3, so that's your spiders. So that's a pretty reliable slow. Honestly, that is how Arachne's able to keep autoing you. So I think that would be enough to be able to get repeated autos off. And then Danza's ult, so you can either dive in on the rocket or just send it. This is a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, this is a terrifying carry if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, soul passive with Ishtar's 1 is nuts. Because Ishtar has a little bit of a stim for her passive. You get a little bit of attack speed, but Souls is, I believe, like at least twice as powerful. But you have to like stack it, so that in of itself is nuts.
Yeah, very much so. I don't know if this next one is Kenny Alpha putting another one in because he says Blaze be like. So I think he's just making fun of Blazes from the sounds of it. I mean, he's not far off with his description because it kind of is Charybdis, Hachi, Cupid, Danza. Except there's no healing in there. Well, I guess Cupid 2 instead of Baka. Baka would still heal you because you're sustaining off of the minion. Okay, yeah, okay. I see what you're stepping in, Kenny. But I think this brings us to the last one, which is by the good Tep Nation himself, his ultimate smite god. Which brings us back to the Emir passive.
Yes, sir.
That lovely crit. The Hugh Yi Ricochet, which is interesting. The Gilgamesh Dropkick. So a lot of eating them. The Zhonghui Book of Demons. 50% auto and stuns for closeness. Which, okay, yeah, I can see that. And the Daji Chains.
That is big. That is a big one. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
the combo.
Yeah, he's got the combo here. So you hit the chains, drop down, auto, dropkick, auto, bounce, auto, W key to victory. Which, honestly, yeah. Again, this is something that I see coming out of the jungle at you.
Mm.
Purely because of the chains. Like, you're not expecting the chains, you're not expecting this to come out of. Like, I don't see this sitting in solo lane or as a carry. I see this literally coming... You know, you hear that sound, and here it comes, and you know your life is ended.
Yeah.
At that point, kind of God. I don't know if it beats Riggs though.
Yeah, no. See, I think Riggs has enough immunity that this kit doesn't have. The only immunity in this kit is the ultimate, which is good. That's a good like get out of jail free. Like you're low and you want to regen a little bit, but also you can apply CC. That's scary. But I think he has enough. There's enough immunity in Riggs' kit. He can Rav in the ult and then just run at you. And as long as he can get his stun off before the dropkick hits, you cancel the dropkick, you get some free autos off, and then you got the stun for chase. I don't know. If you can get the dropkick off, like if you're able to execute the combo cleanly, I think you could. That depths could beat Riggs, but
I mean that's the caveat though. You have to get in before he realizes that you're there. Chain him down as fast as you humanly can, auto dropkick, auto bounce, and then charge him before he has a chance to close the gap with his stuff.
Yeah,
because that's the only caveat. Because once you dropkick him away, that's where Riggs is going to shine. Riggs is going to come running back at you, and
he does. The dropkick does at least give you some sort of ranged engage beyond your ultimate, because Riggs is all melee. Everything about his kit is melee. So you do, if you're able to get the stun to start off your combo, I think it could work. But those are both nutty. I hadn't thought of Daji ult. I have my second one that I did use an assassin ult, but I didn't do Daji, and I feel like that might have been a mistake. So last one here is my actual second one. Which was Yemoja's passive, which was the other passive that I was like, when I first came to mind, I was like, Ymir and Yemoja are the two crazy Guardian passives. So basically, you don't have cooldowns, and your autos. I guess you would be raged. I don't think that's necessarily important for this kit, but they are ranged autos heal allies. But the big thing is that you don't have cooldowns. Unfortunately, you don't have Yemoja's ultimate, so you don't get like that instant regen of all of your Omi. So you need everything to be like high impact, but still chainable. If they don't DR, like they can chain. You can chain CC. So you have Ishtar 1, just because that's a high impact. It's a great stim. So you could theoretically keep it permanently up. For like, I don't know. I guess for as long as you had enough Omi for it. So at least 18 seconds. Because it lasts for 6 seconds. I don't know why you would need Ishtar 1 up for that long, but that's just like your great wave clear, and it's really versatile. Hera's 2. This was an important thing. I was like, if I want something mage and it's not ultimate, I want Hera's 2. Because it's non-DR, the polymorph. It's a non-DR CC that lasts for like 2 or 3 seconds. It is a skill shot, so that's kind of annoying, but it lasts longer than knockups. And it doesn't DR. So you can chain multiple of these together, and your opponent can only walk away slowed. Like, that's it. That's all you get to do. So if you're able to get multiple of those off without somebody else intervening, you could pretty much just kill someone without them having a say, assuming you have enough Omi. And then Shiva's 3 was just like a nice... I'd already committed to my mage and my hunter, so I needed... warrior and assassin, and I thought a best movement ability available would be Shiva's 3. I could have done Wukong's, but this one gives you a little bit more safety, I felt like, because you can get those free block sacks. And then Susanoo ult, which after seeing the Daji ult might have been good, but Susanoo ult, because it doesn't DR. So Daji's does stun, so there's a DR, but just a huge annoying teamfight ult. But the big thing was, basically combining Yemoja's passive with Hera's 2. I was like, that's I don't know what else happens, but those two were just so annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. You know what's one thing that I didn't even think to consider, but totally came to mind just now, that would have worked really well for mine? Cullen passive.
Ooh, because you get you
get the mana, the MP5, and the mana heals you instead because you don't have mana anymore because you have the rage. And his turning into the giant monster is based on the rage, not the...
Oh, thematically, yeah.
So, passively, it could have been like, Surtur builds up heat. Once Surtur gets to a certain heat percentage, he gets big. Yeah. I kind of wish I could have done another one. I'd have to put some more time into thinking about how that would chain together with other stuff, but... Yeah,
but it's also it's like kind of a stance change, so that's a little weird, but I can see it, and it would look cool, because you have like a normal size Surtur that like actually fits in the battleground, and then his passive activates, and bam, now he's fire giant size.
Yeah, now he's just this big monster on the thing, this Yorm-sized thing, or Cthulhu-sized thing running down the field. Yeah. Maybe I'll save that first. Well, no, because I don't want to do it with the same god again because I like to theme things. So I have a different idea for stance change whenever they decide to do that as a community corner. So
I appreciate your approach, and who else was here? Necros. Necros is my MVP here, just because instead of going for like most damage you can do possible, went for like how can I be the most annoying possible in supporting my teammates.
Right. I mean, I would say I gotta give it to Riggs. His is a terrifying monster, and then Necros for the I'm gonna be nigh unkillable, or my team's gonna be nigh unkillable approach. And then everybody else's were pretty good, but those were the two for me that stood out.
I agree. I thought mine were good, and then I read those two, and I was like,
yours are good, but just like mine, it's very situational. Like it doesn't shine until that moment that you can pull off the chain or pull off the combo. Like theirs is just theirs. They pull off the combo and you're not there anymore. At least Riggs is anyway. But then Necros is the one that's sustaining the whole time, just hands down. But with that, I think that wraps us up, Pete.
Yeah, I think. I mean, that's all we had to cover. Unless you wanted to talk a little bit more about what they showed, because we started this all off because Surtur was revealed. So if you wanted to talk anything more about the map or items that you noticed that were revealed,
I think it'd be better to wait for them patch notes because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm
so excited for Wednesday. I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna read that. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what all the new stuff is. I'm excited for the new map. I'm excited for Surtur. I'm gonna play the shit out of Surtur. I don't care what role he is. I'm gonna play the shit out of him. Like Surtur main incoming.
I had the attitude with Maui, and I stuck to it. I got Maui to diamond faster than any of the new gods that have been released since I've been playing.
Nice. I plan to be diamond ASAP with Surtur. I'm gonna buy all the Surtur. I'm gonna be whatever role Surtur is. That's gonna be my new main going forward. Hopefully he's a warrior or a guardian. That way I can stick with what I'm good at. But yeah, so I have been Beard.
And I have been Pete.
And we have been taking over the BOTG podcast. So thank you, everybody. And we gonna give it off to our hosts to shoot out the thank yous. And that has been all for me. So bye.
Bye.
You could have said bye right there, Pete.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, shoot.